So here's the real question. How do dentists like you, who aren't willing to let insurance dictate how you will run your practice, who want to create incredibly profitable practices without sacrificing your time or sanity, how do you create the strategies to ensure your practice not only survives, but thrives in the 21st century? That's the blaring question, and Dr. Steve Schlintz is here to provide the answers. Welcome to Dental Practice Freedom Radio.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dr. Steve Schlintz, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Dental Practice Freedom Radio. And today what we're going to talk about is something that, I often think about and I see a lot with my clients. And this just pops up over and over and over again. And it's this idea that more produces more. And no doubt you have heard that less is more. And maybe you try to ascribe to that. But I see this repeatedly from my own clients and also from my own internal state sometimes, that we feel that as good as that sounds, we still try to do more, right? More procedures in our office, more team members, more patients, more, and it creeps into your personal life, right? More complexity. More trying to do more things. Even the idea right now around the more entrepreneurial side of dentistry. If you listen to a lot of podcasts, get multiple sources of income. And I am all about multiple sources of income. The problem becomes if you try to do too much, right? You have your hand in this one and that one and this one and that one. And you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. The complexity alone will absolutely kill you. And you'll end up not being really good at anything. And the reason I bring this up is because I personally struggle with this on a daily basis. And just recently I've been working on some projects, and I knew I was getting into that, what I call the more trap, where I somehow think by doing more of these things, it's going to make me more successful. And that's totally not the truth at all. And so I want you to think about this when you're starting to get into your practice, and maybe you're trying to pick up another source of income or something along those lines. Less but best. And this is a game changer. It honestly is. The clients that I work with, they may have what I call the whirlwind of the practice, where it's the daily stuff they have to do, and maybe it's the personal daily stuff they have to do. But they focus on one or two key areas that they know are going to drive success in their practice for now and in the future. And let me give you a great example. So some of you know, and if you've been listening to this, you know that I do a lot of coaching, right? But I still have a practice, and I still do some dentistry, and I try to stay in that sphere because it makes me a better coach, really, because I can see what's going on the ground, if you will. But the way that I started to build my practice that makes it unique and people will come see me is that I focused a lot on TMJ treatment, and I focused a lot on messaging behind TMJ, and I focused a lot on putting systems in place in my practice to make that successful. And the more focused I got on that, I was able to continue everything else in the practice, but I started to orient towards one specific element of dentistry as what I call my economic moat. And first, it helps patients, right? And I really do think it's absolutely amazing. We had a patient the other day that has been struggling with TMJ and jaw pain for years. And so finally, she agreed to do the appliance therapy. And, my quote-unquote night guards, they're about 3 to 4 times as expensive as a typical night guard would be, and they're only wearing it at night. But I position myself as a quote-unquote expert in this area, and I feel that way. And what I have my patients wear at night is not what most dentists would have their patients wear at night, right? It's a labor of love to make an appliance that actually works with the occlusion that the patient has. And so when we're going through, we had to make one adjustment, and then she's like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely unbelievable. So I knew I have something there in that I can really, truly, profoundly change patients' lives. But I'd never be successful with that if I was trying to do everything else in my practice and do the TMJ stuff. It just gets convoluted and confusing, and you don't make any real progress in any direction. And so with that aspect, I know that I have to stay focused on that part of my office as much as humanly possible, because that is going to be, for me, the thing that keeps any practice out of, if you don't want to be in the corporate rat race and you don't want to start competing with Aspen Dental and you don't want to be in a large group style practice. Maybe you do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Every model needs to be there in order for the dental system to work. But I've talked to a lot of dentists, that's not what they want. They say, hey, I want to go and do some of this amazing dentistry that I've been learning and put it in a system that actually allows me to do it. And part of the problem for most dentists is that their office is so busy trying to do more that they'll never successfully implement any particular aspect of what they do long enough to be so great at it that people will come see you. So in order to become a master of something, you really have to focus on less but best. You have to start to get in a habit of eliminating all the non-necessary things in both your practice, your personal life. You can make a list of everything you do on a daily basis. There's time study apps that you can use, and just start figuring out, even in the practice, where do we spend the majority of our time? And I will tell you, you will be shocked at how much time you spend on stuff that actually does not matter. It's completely irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant to production in your practice, profitability in your practice. But we do all these things by this, almost like this subconscious urge for more and more and more. And so as you're in your practice today, I just want you to be thinking about that simple concept. It's not earth-shattering, but think about it. And don't just say, yeah, no, less. Okay, great, I'll do that. No, really start to analyze with your unique thing that you do in your practice. How do you deliver that? Is your practice designed to deliver that? Or is that something that you kind of put on the back burner? You say, one day when my practice is here, if you say this, one day when my practice is there, I'd love to do more full mouth cases. I'm going to tell you that day will never happen. That day is never going to happen if you have that attitude. The attitude you need to have is, I want to do more full mouth cases. If this is what you want to do in your practice, I want to do more TMJ treatment. I want to do more implants. I want to do more all on fours. I want to do more full mouth rehabilitations. And you make a decision that I'm going to do 10 of these a year. I'm going to do 20 of these a year. And you state that. And then you start to say, what are all the non-necessary things that are happening in my practice on a daily basis that we can eliminate so we can start focusing on less but best? And you'd be amazed at how simple that one question, or how amazing that one question could be in actually turning your practice around and increasing your profitability by 10 or 15%, and you're really not even doing anything. You're just thinking differently. You're thinking about how to do more of what you want to do and not react to the things you don't want to do. So hopefully you got value out of this. It's so great to be back on this episode. It's been a while since I was able to record one, and it was a new mic. I hope this quality turned out well. But anyway, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode on Dental Practice Freedom Radio with Dr. Steve Schalintz. We'll see you on the next episode.